Hey, Mason, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you for doing that quick turnaround on that quote.
Yeah, no problem, man. No problem.
I appreciate it. You guys are always up for crazy, stupid things I do. So
that is our middle name, crazy and stupid.
Absolutely.
I'm always doing something out of the box. So I appreciate it.
Oh yeah.
So good to see you, man. It's been a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, it has. Good to see you as well.
So I don't even know where to begin. I guess we could start with the single if you want, and we can take it from there. You want to do that?
Yeah, sure.
So in Anger's Myths, I think is definitely heavier and more cohesive than your previous stuff. Was that intentional, or was that just a natural progression?
Mason, you want to start out?
I don't know. I feel like that was well, it was more of a natural progression, because the original song wasn't as intense. It's pretty much the same song as before. It's just with better production and better performances. Or it's a band's performance this time, not just Logan's. So
right.
But yeah.
That's very true.
So let's go back to that for a second. Vocally, what did you do different? Because it is, listening to it again this morning a few times, next level. So I'm going to tell you what I was thinking ahead of time, and I'm not big on comparing things, but very Nurgle, however you pronounce it, very behemoth-y.
Yeah. That's one of those things. Well, that's one of those things that, as far as I've always kind of liked his vocal style. So I've always tried to not emulate it, but that's always kind of like where I find my vocals rest, kind of in that gravelly, almost upper chest type of thing. But as far as doing the vocals different, that's been a natural progression since the original song back in 2017. My vocals, everything changes as I was really starting out Symphony of Heaven at the time. I was still finding my voice and learning, and I've kind of found a niche spot where I feel it translates well live, translates well on recording, and I can emulate it in both positions, and it's not too taxing. Like that's kind of where I've landed the plane at, so to speak. But also the fact the equipment that we used. Onyx, our bass player, we had access to a lot better vocal equipment to record this time. So that helps a lot. And the difference between a $90 used Audio Technica mic or a Shure 7B,
right?
It is a huge difference. So that helps a lot.
Okay. Mason, did you have something?
No.
So Mason, you mentioned a minute ago, like it's a combination of the full band thing now. What does the band bring to the table that was different from before? I guess you're writing together.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, this was one of the first songs I learned for the band all the way back in 2018. So basically, I just adapted that song and how it was originally played to how I would play it live. And then as time has come on, I've made changes to make it more dynamic and interesting for live performance. And so that's kind of how we took it going into this recording session. And funnily enough, I think this song, we went from having one person write, record, mix, master, and then we ended up putting like 8 or 9 people are involved on this new track. So
Oh, really?
Oh, it was insane. Yes. Like full band and with some additional help. But yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Was it difficult for you to give up the full control on it, Logan?
No, actually, that was something that I had wanted, prayed for, desired for a long time since I started Symphony of Heaven. Was I wanted, and I always do, like to work with other people in writing music. So it was really nice because Eero wrote some lead parts for the song that I hadn't done. He just started playing it. He's like, I'm going to play this live. And I'm like, that's really awesome. Thank you for doing that.
Right.
Tyler of Onyx had put in more synth in this track than we had. I was always are always good at starting out when I would record stuff, and I'd have like synth at the beginning, and then I'd forget about it towards the end of the song.
Were you open to all their ideas?
Oh, I believe I was. I don't think there was anything that I just said no, that doesn't work, because everything, we had done it live so long for a couple of years that way, and it was the one song from that album that everybody enjoyed playing live because it's just fun. It's just something about it. It's kind of like we basically printed in time kind of what we had been doing live, and and then obviously having Kevin Butler from Test Tube Audio, who works with band like Heniana, having him do the mix and the master, it just sent it next level. It's totally next level. It was amazing.
So what is the game plan then? Are you guys going to stick with the new like music business model of singles every, whatever it is, 6 weeks, 8 weeks, or is there a record in the future or an EP or something?
I'd say definitely an EP. We have a full thing written. We're just working on getting it nailed down for recording. After that, though, I'm fairly certain we've discussed a new record, a full-length album. That's my plan. There might be something in between there. Who knows? But
because I know the music business has totally changed, right? And people like my son's age, they have the 30-second attention span, and so you got to do the single stuff to keep relevant. However, people like us, I think, and definitely in the metal world and maybe a little older, love the full length and where you recorded it and who you thank and reading all the lyrics and the artwork that spends a lot of time. Even the art of sequencing, I think, is missing a lot.
Yeah, I'll take from here. I mean, what Asaph Mason said is exactly right. This was just one of those things that this was a good opportunity for us to try out being kind of independent now on our own, trying out some things to see how it would work, kind of dip our feet in the water completely 100% on our own. And the fact that it's like this was what we could do in the meantime while we're getting the EP ready. And yeah, I mean, there is the EP and a full length after that the themes and the ideas are already built and they're just growing organically over time. There's probably songs already written for the full length album too. So we're like, a couple of years ahead at this point.
Right.
But you always feel like you're a couple of years behind too. So, I mean, but that is the plan right now. So we don't really have any plans to do singles. That's not really, I think, what all of us would like to do. We are of the older school where, like you said, we want the full thing, the full experience.
I don't necessarily know it's an age thing. I think it's more of a genre thing, right? I think a lot of people in this genre really appreciate the whole package.
Yes.
I could be wrong, but that's the way it's the way I've seen, I talk to a lot of people and it seems that's the way everyone sort of thinks.
I agree. I think that is, Asaph, would you agree with that is, that's pretty true.
I think, it just depends on the person, honestly, because like I'm fairly young and I don't personally like the singles approach. Like I prefer EPs or albums to singles any day of the week.
I think there's the whole process, right, of like coming home, going to the record store now, ordering it or whatever, and sitting down and dropping that needle on. And, it took you on a journey for however long, 17 and a half minutes or whatever it was. And that's totally missing with the, hey, let's do 30 seconds in the car.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I do as well.
And in the end, do you guys think about that at all? Like when you're writing, do you worry, like, do you stack it front heavy? Or do you just write to write and not worry about you got to catch the attention in those first 15 seconds for this culture?
That's funny. We were just talking about this, Mason. Weren't we? The anthems. Talking about Keep of Callison and a couple of their albums. Their new one, Catharsis, and one of their old ones, Epistemology. They have a lot of anthems in their songs of places that people. It's epic, and you can almost sing along to it. It gets stuck in your head,
right?
And we enjoy that because it's a powerful thing. We were talking about, maybe we need to kind of focus we need to kind of focus more towards that, be a little more intentional. My writing has always been, as it started out, it was not necessarily of a traditional, verse, chorus,
Mm-hmm.
It was more just like, this is how it has come about. Sometimes there's no structure to it at all, which is normal in metal. Sometimes there's a chorus and sometimes there's not, and that's fine. So, we discuss those things a lot, and how we want to do it.
Okay. I thought Mason had something. So you guys played a couple shows over the summer, at least a couple festivals, right? How did that go? What was the reception?
The first festival was whatever. The couple of shows we've done this year, the first show of the year was excellent. One of our best shows, I think, as far as attendance and mostly performance. Right. Then Kingdom Come Festival, it was like great attendance, and then our performance was but I mean, it wasn't our best. It wasn't horrible.
How much of the heat had to do with that? Because I imagine, especially you, Mason, banging those drums for 40 minutes or whatever.
Well, not to mention, that was my second set of the day. I was playing with another band before that. That
heat stroke.
Yeah, something like that. I think it really, I only messed up. So before we re-recorded In Anger's Midst, we never played it to a click track. And that was the first time we played it to a click track. And I think I got a little ahead of myself, and it didn't turn out exactly.
Did the crowd notice, or was that something you guys just noticed?
Oh, we totally noticed. Everyone noticed, so we stopped immediately and started over.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
I was trying to, but
sorry.
No, you're fine. No, you're fine. The show after that went very well. I felt like it was probably our best show. Definitely our best show.
Yeah, that entire night was a night that will live in infamy.
Really?
Down there. Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
All the bands, it was the fire alarms went off that night, and from the band of Zell was there, and their fog machine set off the fire alarms.
So like a Spinal Tap sort of night?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Like, they had no idea. They just kept playing. It was so loud. There was a karaoke thing going on in the front of the bar. I don't think they knew we were supposed to be playing that night. I'm not sure what happened, but the owner came in. She was not happy. She's screaming and cussing to shut everything down. And I'm just, at that point, I just couldn't help but just laugh to myself. Like, this is so metal.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Cleveland.
Exactly.
The fire department was around the corner. Like, that's how bad it was, because they have to answer those calls. I heard the sirens from outside. I'm like, oh, God, I hope they don't cancel the show. Everybody drove from, like, all over the dang country to get here.
Funny. And then the funny story is the next day they closed down, which had nothing to do with us, but we thought maybe it, like,
the club.
Wow, the club closed down. Nice. It was due to another issue prior that had nothing to do with us, but it was really providentially ironic.
Right. So you guys were the last band to play there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I swear that's every venue we play. But yeah.
They did open back up, but it was like everything we touch falls apart.
Yeah.
Every promoter we've worked with goes under, it seems.
Right.
Not always, but over the years or venues end up shutting down when we got shows and they cancel and everything. So it's just like, my gosh,
Yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I talk to bands all the time on the show, and it's not easy for anybody out there, right? I mean, now people are taking, and maybe you had this experience before, but I'm just now learning about the taking cuts of merch and doing all kinds of stuff. It's what's left for you guys. I mean,
well, you have to sell merch first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Joke's on you. We didn't sell nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's we haven't ran into that so far, thankfully, and I won't run into that. They can go pound sand. They didn't make it. They're not getting it. We just won't play. If that's, I don't put up with BS. I say that. I talk a big game, but But when it comes to that, if that situation ever arises, it would have to be something where we just couldn't say no. And I'm not sure there's a whole lot of situations that we would just be so bound to have to do that, you know.
In the end, I mean, that's your gas money, pretty much, right?
Yep, pretty well, yeah.
I mean, you're not funding your Lamborghini, that's your gas money.
Exactly. It would have to be such a financial boost that we could take that loss. Like would have to be a massive festival or event where we would just rake in the money even if some was going out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
But those are so few and far between. So
yeah.
So In Anger's Myths came out, I think, last Friday, right? A couple days ago?
2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Week and a half, I think. September 1st.
Either way, what's been the response to it so far? Has it been pretty positive?
Yeah. I mean, I haven't heard. I've seen one guy be like, I didn't like the Cookie Monster vocals, and that was about it.
Who said that?
That was some guy on our Facebook.
Cookie Monster vocals? Okay.
Sorry, dog. He liked the music, so whatever.
All right, well, that'll bring me to my next question then. It wasn't in the cards here, but how much attention or how much thought do you give to those detractors?
One way I've heard it put, and it was by A.L. Levy of Doth, was that when you get negative feedback, and you typically you process negative feedback and positive feedback the same, and that's to give it no credence whatsoever. You know, don't let it go to your head one way or another. You just kind of keep pressing forward.
Yeah.
Because in the end, those people can be keyboard warriors, right? I mean, they may not be saying anything constructive or relevant. Yeah. Like, Cookie Monster vocals helps nobody.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'm cutting you off.
I thanked him for listening to the track. I mean, that's more attention than I would have expected from somebody like that, you know? So I'll take it.
Yeah, he took the time to comment, so that's good. Right. Yeah, I mean, I think as the musicians, especially if you take your craft seriously, you should know before anybody comments or has any opinions whether or not your music is up to snuff, is up to the par that you want it to be at.
Right.
And, you know, because you ought to be able to know this sounds good or this doesn't sound good or we should have done something different. You know, I'm my biggest critic on that. So there's not going to be anybody that tells me something I don't already know. If it's a preference thing, well, that's their preference. That's fine. I have preferences too. I mean, you know, so
you were already aware of the Cookie Monster vocals.
Oh yeah, because I've gotten that ever since I've gotten it. I can't understand the thing they're saying.
Yep.
You know, how are you supposed to know? Or they make fun of me at work about that or something like that. You know, whatever. I don't care. Yeah. You know, it's fine. Comes with the territory, and at least they're paying attention.
Right. Like Mason said, at least they listen. So thank you for listening, and it's a stream, and we can move on.
Exactly. The reason they say that all press is good press is because the worst thing you can have is indifference, especially in music. So I'll take it. Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Excellent. So what do you guys have next? Are you planning on any more shows? Are you taking this out on the road for any small runs or?
Yeah. Right now we got one show booked. There's talk of a few more, hopefully soon, but we got one show booked right now. It's October 21st. It's Pit Fest up in Greentown, Indiana. It's a totally free show. Starts around noon, I think. So if anybody's out this way, come out, hang out with us, and have a grand old time.
Oh yeah.
What about timeline for release or for an EP or a next single? Nothing yet.
We have a general idea about when we would like the EP to come out. Sometime in the first half of next year, preferably the first quarter of next year. That is going to just basically be whenever we can get everything finalized recording, because all the songs are there pretty well 100% written. Right. It's just going to be finding the time to get everything tracked and then go forward with it, you know. Okay. So it's there. It's just we got to move forward in that aspect now.
Yeah. All right, so two more things. One, if you could give everybody your socials so they can find you. And then the second one, if you don't mind, I've got a sort of little game we play. It's a short, does really well. And as we were talking about attention spans, we have a social media lady now who takes care of these little short things and they work kind of well. So
All right.
Go ahead and give us your socials so everybody can find you, and then we'll play.
So, yeah, Facebook.com/Symphony of Heaven, all one thing. Instagram is at Symphony_ofs_heaven. What's the TikTok? Pathos?
TikTok is at Symphony of Heaven.
Okay. There's too many of those.
There's way too many. Those are the main ones. And follow us on Spotify, Symphony of Heaven.
Yep.
Sweet.
And our website, symphony-of-heaven.com. You can find all the links to everything.
All right, perfect. Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate it. Always good to see you guys.
Yes, thank you very much for having us.
Good luck with the single and the EP coming up. I look forward to more stuff, and maybe someday you'll get a crossover to the East Coast here.
Here's hoping.
Yeah, we would love to. God willing, we'll take this everywhere.
That'd be great. And once again, thank you for always jumping in on my quick little email saying, "Hey, Mason, I need help."
No problem.
You're the man. I appreciate it. Thanks for all your time, man. Good luck.
All right. Thank you.
Love you, man. Have a good one.
Be well. Bye.
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 Ever wonder what a punch from Elton John feels like?
Or how you'd cope with having turned down the chance to be in Nirvana?
Or what signal Keith Richards gives when he wants you to get the hell out of his hotel room?
Fans of Too Much Effing Perspective don't have to wonder, because they've heard these exact stories and a jillion others on our podcast. I'm Alex Hoffman, former tour manager for Radiohead.
And I'm musician and comedy writer Alan Keller. On the TMEP show, we get guests like Nancy Wilson from Heart, Jeremiah Freites from the Lumineers, and Modern Family's Julie Bowen to tell us things they may have only shared with their therapist, clergy, or a TMZ stringer.
So join us on Too Much Effing Perspective. That's EFFING Perspective. The only podcast you crank up to 11.